exactly how these look at it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
exactly
you're
how.
right.
That's
You're
exactly
right.
how they look at
And
it.
they keep that chain going. It's an assembly line.
Yeah.
Because see, once you fall off, you ain't no good anymore.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? You got to remember, New Jack City, G Money equal first.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then she went and Nino.
Yeah, man.
You know, she was riding G Money and thinking about Nino. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how it is. And then G Money was butthurt over that.
Right.
You know, because in his mind, Nino emasculated.
Yeah.
You know, you his
man.
You know, so you know it's a cold game, but that's how it is. When you can't produce no more, you're out the door and it's on to the next thing. You know, remember the little Los Angeles rapper from the '90s, Skilo.
Yeah. Yep.
Remember that song he made? Everybody want to be down with dude on top of the stairs. Top of the stairs. Top of the stairs. That's how it is.
Vaguely, yeah.
No. So, you know, once you have outlived your usefulness, what they say, he done fell off.
Yep.
Big Mike done fell off.
Oh,
you know.
Shit, man.
So that's how, you know, it works. Because in her mind, you know, you can't produce no more.
Right.
Never mind, she's 10 times, her financial situation is 10 times worse than yours.
Right.
All she know is, you know, fall for, don't eat the broccoli. You know, they fall for the cotton candy and the candy apple.
Right.
You know, and the Three Musketeers and the Milky Ways. They don't fuck around with vegetables and fruit. And, you know, it's good for them. They go for eye candy. They like trophy.
Right.
Trinkets. You know, so you don't have the trappings that say you're on top anymore. So, you know, you fell off. So now it's time for her to go find. But and that's the strange part of it. If she don't find a that is your equal or that exceeds you, she go and fall for a jail. That's what they do. You know,
as if the jail is on my level.
Jail.
Yeah.
No, because in their mind, even though he's in prison, in their warped sense of logic, even though he's in prison, you know, he's doing better than you. And I don't, you know, who knows how that works? Who understands how that works? But that's how they think.
Yeah.
You know, or the drug dealer that's just one transaction away, you know, from going to prison.
Right.
You know? So you're absolutely right. You're absolute. They do not have that code of honor, and it is. They're quick to replace you. They're quick. Niggas ain't going along with the no more as much as they used to, and they become more disposable. See what I'm saying? But I say that to say that you still retain your value, even though, you know, she says you've fallen off. It's like we always say, it's just a disturbance in the form.
Right.
That's what I chalk it up to. And in many instances, she's probably doing you a favor, because if she's not grateful enough to buy you a ham sandwich, you know, you probably don't need that around anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's probably somebody you don't need to be bothered with.
Exactly.
You and I both know the drill. It'll be maybe 1, 2, 3 months down the line. She'll be happy. She'll call you because she needs you. See what I'm saying? It's at that point, going back to the beginning of our podcast, you have to know when to let it go.
And it, you know,
it sounds like from your perspective, it's time to let her go.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I firmly believe, you know, when we're looking at the genders, man, when it comes to the concept of love and caring, men love a lot harder than women. I believe that firmly now, unless the love is from mother to child, you know what I mean? But when it comes to like actually getting with someone, I believe men fall harder in love than women, because women can, like I said, can go out and replace some just like that, you know, because we know what's, you know, the females that do the choosing. You know how hard it is for a male to go out there and, you know, pick up stakes and start all over and find a female. You know, it's not as easy for a man. You know, a woman does it a lot more readily. You know, it's much easier for her to do it and shit, man. So I ain't gonna lie, man. You know, Nish is my man. I really got an affinity for her, man. You know, I'm not trying to wife her up. There's no way in that'll happen. You know what I mean? I'm not stupid, but I do got feelings for her, man. You know, you around with a for 10 years, you know, she gonna stick to you. But it's obvious that, you know, the river don't run that deep with that, you know, when it comes to me, that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the you get a stack and you don't even call me and get me a ham sandwich hoe? You know what I'm saying? As much as I done fed you, you know what I mean? So,
well, you know, again, I would say when you said men love, I would say when a man loves a woman, it's more intense,
right,
and it's complete.
Right.
Usually, a lot of times when a woman loves you, it's really some manipulative and selfish.
Right.
See what I'm saying? She loves you because she wants that life of suburbia. She wants that Cosby-esque lifestyle.
Right.
She wants you to rescue her from the consequences of being old and alone.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And some people say, well, men are like that too, but no, it's different. Because see, when men, it's more intense, it's more complete. You know, there are no breaks.
Okay.
When a man falls in love, there are no breaks. See, but when a woman does, to catch like us,
right,
catch like us,
right,
what they're doing is, and it's some cold, it's some cold shit, but it's real. They want you, they love you as a plan B.
Right.
It's that manipulative, you know, save me from my consequences type love. Yeah, I know I f***ed up, but I need you, you know, to sacrifice for me anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I know I did some grimy shit, but I need you to show your love and step in and save me from, you know, karma. It's that type of shit. It's a convenient love. It's real manipulative. And that's one of the best kept secrets in relationships, especially in black relationships, especially with the bitches that we deal with. It's a really selfish and manipulative love. And the thing is, whereas yours, you would be more inclined to see, you would think, okay, it will cross your mind whether or not her and that boy was equal.
Right.
That, something like that would cross your mind. Why? Because your code, your ethics, your style, or your concept of love is different than her.
Right.
You know, plus, you know, again, that girl don't know how to show no love, but that's another subject. But the thing is it's just two different forms. One is more selfless, and one is more selfish.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Or, and again, I'm going to put a caveat on that. That depends on the dudes, because I'm going to tell you, these bitches are loyal to these knuckleheads.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They are loyal. They are very considerate. They become very considerate and very concerned and very sensitive about the needs of these that ain't about shit.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So I have to put that caveat on there. It's manipulative when it comes to us. It's unconditional when it comes to them.
Right. Yeah, she was bringing in dope to man. You know what I'm saying? Up in the pen and shit. You know what I mean? No, this is the same chick talking about, hey, don't know come before my baby. My son, don't know come before my son. But here you are risking your freedom by bringing up, you know, dope in the spot for you know what I mean? I'm too old for this shit, cuz. I'm too old. You know, it's like, you know, man, I remember coming up as a youngster, man. You know, of course, we all knew what the deal was with the broads, man. The broads, of course, they always, you know, they want a knucklehead, man. But God, it's on steroids now. It is so much more worse now than it was back then, bro. It's like, and the only thing I can really attribute that to is just the government intervention, making it so that they're able to do this with no cares or no worries, because of course they got the safety net of the government to protect them after the knucklehead bad boy uses them up.
You're absolutely right. And
yeah.
It was government intervention, but I would say government intervention in collusion and collaboration with popular culture.
Exactly. Media. Mass media
See what I'm
manipulation.
saying?
Yeah.
Yes, mass media. You know, the marketing of this, you know, outlaw effort.
Right.
And it's gotten to be out of control. And, of course, this type of thing feeds the prison industrial complex. We don't have to, you know, belabor that point anymore. But you're right. It is the massive government intervention in conjunction with popular culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's one of the things like, okay, you risk your freedom. You ain't thinking about your baby when you risk your freedom to smuggle dope.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't show that same reckless to get me a ham. You can't show that same concern with getting me a ham sandwich.
Yeah. Ain't that some shit?
So, it's backwards. These are loyal to good-looking knuckleheads.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? They're loyal to good-looking knuckleheads. They're not loyal to people like us. That's just part of the game. And then if we flip it, let's play devil's advocate.
Right.
The women that would be loyal to us are not women that we were really with. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we got to be honest. We got to keep it 100 because that would do that tend to get on our nerves.
Mm.
Yeah,
I done kicked plenty of broads to the curb, man, that's been trying to show me that sort of action, man. But, I just ain't been interested.
What is that you say when you stare at the abyss, it stares back at you?
Right. Yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But, but just recently, man, the call of the wild, man, I'm seriously, I was watching ESPN the other day and I'm watching a lot of UFC, man, and man, it's like, how long am I going to fight the inevitable? How long am I going to fight the inevitable? And so I'm watching all these sports shows. I'm seeing these running backs, wide receivers. I'm watching UFC, Daniel Cormier, John Bones Jones. I'm watching all these cats, and they all have white and Hispanic wives. Ain't not one of them got a skillet, man. Not one of them. And so it's like, when am I going to catch a clue, man? You're like, when am I going to leave? And I hate to say black women. I more so would say that's raised in, a so-called black culture. You know what I mean? Because evidently, even the pimps know what's going on, man. What's the old saying that pimps will tell you? Pimps say a white girl will let you pimp, but a black girl will make you pimp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was Mr. White. Mr. White folks said, a chick seen the Bible from a white bitch than from a black woman.
Yeah, man.
The black one out there trying to fight, carry on and shit like that. You can't take care of no business like that.
Yeah, so it's like, when am I going to catch a hint, catch a clue, man? Because these Beckys, man, be getting at me. And I ignore maybe about 50, 60% of them because, truthfully, they be hit, because I'm not going to be that brother settled down with no fat white girl, man. I'm not going to fit that stereotype, man. And, and if you look at online dating sites like Tinder or Plenty of Fish or whatever, even the black nasty attitudes come across, even on there, Their profiles. It's like, seriously, writes like this. My name is Shaniqua, and I ain't here for no games. If you just want to come and over here and just fuck me, keep it pushing, boo boo, I'm not the one. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, or they'll say some shit like, if you just gonna say hi to me, I'm a boss. I don't, be creative. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So this that I always run into, man, it's like, I'll say hi to whether they white or black, I keep it simple. Hi, what's up? How you doing? Where you from? Blah, blah, blah. Usually about the second or third response with a black chick, she don't respond. You know what I mean? Because I guess the want a big production, into, the conversation. Like, yeah, what's up? You say what?
You also left some out.
What?
See, the black 9 times out of 10, there's always the hint of sex.
Right.
There may be an ass shot. Mm-hmm. There may be a cleavage shot. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So her inbox or her message box on Plenty of Fish or Tinder is a magnet for that's just trying to run up in her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now she got all these trying to run up in her. Now she wants to see who's going to perform the best to get her attention.
Okay.
See, so with her, you have to have an elaborate production for the got an audience.
Okay.
Whereas the white women will sit down and give you a conversation.
Right.
Even the ratchet ones, even the ratchet ones at some level will be more approachable than the black. And I'm sorry, to have to say that. Some people, why you putting down black? Man, fuck that shit. I'm telling you.
Right.
I'm telling you, the white women are more approachable are more approachable than these skillets. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Because these skillets are got competing and jumping through hoops. You see, when I'm to sell somebody third grade goods, to sell somebody knockoff goods, you got jumping through hoops, and in your mailbox, and you walking around here with 3, 4, and 5 kids, and you making niggas compete for, some secondhand material.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas white chicks understand that their value is shrinking.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So they are going to come at you. They're going to be more aggressive in terms of letting you know that they're interested than these skillets will.
Mm-hmm.
Because these skillets are all about, they want to show you that you're not going to get over on them. You ain't going to run game on them. They're going to run game on you.
And just
so
like
it's a combative situation when you just say hi.
Oh, yeah. And then, like you said, they'll show ass and titties and shit, and then get mad when a nigga come at them on just some you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait a second. And that go back to, what we was talking about with the RZA, and how RZA was saying, hey, if you don't want to be fucked with by the police, then try not to wear, gear that's associated with thuggery. You know what I mean? And go back to the black It's like, look, if you don't want to be misconstrued as a whore, just stop wearing a whore uniform, bitch. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just that simple. If you don't want to have dudes hollering at you, hey, Ma, let me get up in it, then stop showing your ass and your ass crack and your titties. You know what I mean? It's real simple. But, like, man, these white girls, man, you could just have a simple conversation with them. You could say, hi, what's up, where you from, how old are you? And they won't get they won't get an attitude, suck their teeth and roll their eyes. These black man. I'm like, God damn, what's wrong with you, bitch, man? And bruh, like I said, I've been starting to really put some effort into with these Beckys, boy. And I got a slick one right now. I don't want to get into too much details because I don't want to jinx this one. There's some fly going on right now, man. So
see, Becky is Sweet Polly purebred, as I like to call it.
Right.
Sweet Polly purebred gonna let you try your case.
Right. Mm-hmm.
To use a legal analogy.
Okay.
She gonna let you try your case in chief. She ain't gonna stand up and give too many objections.
Okay.
She gonna let you get your evidence in. She gonna let you present your case.
Right.
Whereas with a black bitch, you got 5 seconds. If you ain't saying she want to hear in 5 seconds, cut.
Right.
It's a wrap. Cut. It's a wrap. But the Becky and the Sweet Polly purebred, they're going to let you try your case. Whereas the black is going to be objecting as soon as you make your open argument.
Right. And then in the same breath, going to say there ain't no good black men out here.
They said that what they really saying is, what they really mean is, there are no good black men out here that they're attracted to.
Right.
That's what they really mean when they say that.
Mm-hmm.
There are no good black men out here that they want to.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And even that's problematic because they're so used to this ratchet and this grimy that even if they want to, they're going to get bored with that after a while.
Right. Exactly.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just if you got somebody that's used to living in some place like Beirut, or they're living in a place, a violent environment where there's always, war, where there's always and violence, you can't sit them in suburbia and expect them to have an easy transition.
Right.
Just don't work that way. And that's the way they've been socialized to poverty, failure, and violence. That's the socialization stage that they've gone through. So in some instances, it's like, okay, well, now you can make a choice. Well, that grimy shit is comfortable to them. That hood shit is comfortable to them because they know that.
Right.
It was just like one time when you and I were having a discussion, and you were talking about one of your pictures. I ain't gonna call her name, and she said, well, the reason I won't become your girlfriend is I know I gotta step up.
Right.
See what I'm saying? I know I gotta step up. I know I have some obligations. I know that I can't do this shit that I'm doing. See, she was more comfortable doing all that she was doing with this and that and this. She was comfortable in that circle.
Right.
But when she with you, that circus has to stop at some level. You cannot another on my watch and then control what I do with my penis.
Right.
But that's what she used to. So it's easier for her to bounce from than it is for her to come and deal with you one-on-one, because she knows she got to change.
Right.
And she's comfortable being a hoe. That's what she knows. She's comfortable with that. You're asking her to do something that's out of her comfort zone. It's just not going to happen. So when they say that, I don't pay no attention when they say it's no good black man. I know what they're saying when they say that.
Right.
You know. And then, like you said, you're getting up there. What's happening is, I think things are changing. You have lived, you know, a life of extreme. You are the true gentleman of least. You are real. Only you never been to prison.
Right.
You didn't have to go to prison to do that shit. You didn't have to subject yourself to law enforcement to do that shit. You know, you didn't have to go to full penitentiaries like Fillmore Slim.
Right.
See what I'm saying? You were able to really live that life. But, you know, so when it's time, it's time.
Boy, I was exhausted,
Time
man.
is time. You know. And so when you got to making the process easier by, you know, being cooperative, you appreciate that a whole hell of a lot more than sitting here, you know, trying to sit here and go through a breaking process and break this and add her into the jar of souls. You don't need to do that. There's nothing else you need to prove to anybody anymore.
Yeah, man, just the overall vibe is just, it's like, wow, man, this is the way it's supposed to be, man. You know, I ain't arguing with her, man. It's like, you know, and she's like really attentive, you know, and real, I don't want to say submissive, man, but I can tell she, you know, most of the females like for you to take the lead, whether you white or black, you know what I mean? But, you know, I get more consistent signals from this chick, more so than from a Tanisha. Tanisha's all over the place, man. She all helter-skelter, chaotic. I don't know what the want half the time, man. Not to mention the fact that she's so masculine, right? So thug herself. Like I said, there's no way I would be able to out-thug her, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, she, you know, we talked about that hyper-masculine situation last podcast where she's looking for someone to trump her on her masculinity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, while I am masculine, you know, I'm not trying to be in a pissing contest with you to see who's the hardest or who's, you know, running shit. You know, I'm not trying to butt heads with you on this shit. You know what I mean? And that's what she's into, man. You know what I mean? And with this, you know, with this Becky, man, she's like, you know, one thing I noticed, you know, with the text message, she doesn't really inquire a lot. You know, there's two things that happen. You know, I'm real perceptive with this shit. A lot of times if you got a broad that's not asking no questions about you, not inquiring nothing, you know what I mean, then the broad's really not interested in you. You know what I mean? That is, unless, right, you know, because I can tell she just wants me to take the lead. When I'm asking her stuff on the phone or through text, you know, then she'll reciprocate. You know, if I ask her, so how many kids do you have? She'll be like, I have 4. And then she'll fire back, well, how many do you have? You know what I mean? Well, you can tell if a chick's not interested in you. Like if you ask her that same question, you'd be like, well, how many kids do you have? She'll say, I have 4. But she won't ask you anything in return. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, and so with this chick, she won't take the lead. You know, she won't really take the initiative to kind of like get into my business unless I open the door for that. You know what I mean? Each time I ask her a question, she'll answer the question, then she'll fire one back. You know what I mean? But she won't be proactive. She won't take the lead on it.
Some interest in the conversation.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And, you know, and I kind of like that because, like I said, I'm not necessarily looking for a robot, but, you know, she's womanly. You know what I mean? She will let you initiate the conversation and take the lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I'm
White
talking,
girl let you pimp, black girl make you pimp.
Yep. Yeah, and when I'm talking to her, she don't interrupt me, man. Black always won't shut the up, man. You know, I'm talking to chicks, you know, on the phone, and they, you know, I'm trying to make my point, and they just won't shut up, man. They just keep talking, and be like, well, can I get a word in? You know what I mean? You're like, old girl's real mannerly, man, and real just got manners and shit, man. It's like, man, it's like, I hate to get on this. I don't even want to call it black woman bashing, man. But I'm tired, man, and I just want a woman, to be a woman, bruh. That's all.
It's the reason why they got that. Why those guys have those women, because those women exhibit that. And what black women think that's weak when you are submissive. No, you're allowing yourself to be feminine.
Right.
You remember back I think it was during the 90s. You remember when Shahrazad Ali wrote The Black Man's Guide to Understand the Black Woman?
Exactly.
And there was a passage in there that they took out of context and didn't understand what she was saying. So sometimes you got to slap them in the mouth.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
You remember that shit?
She called heat for that.
And, yeah, she called heat for that. But what she was saying was the same thing we're saying. These women have been in a situation where they've been masculinized.
Right.
See? And they need a display of force to remind them that they're vulnerable.
Exactly.
They need that display of force to put them back in that display, or put them back in that sense of to put them or restore that sense of femininity.
Right.
That's what Shahrazad Ali was saying. She wasn't just saying slap in the mouth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? She was talking about, they took that out of context. She was talking about the kind of that we dealing with. The kind of that you just have to be. If you don't stand up and argue with them, they think you're a bitch.
Right.
If you don't give them that energy, if you don't grab them and shake them or slap the out of them, you're weak.
Right.
And people say, well, there aren't women like that. There are.
Boy.
You see. So when she said slap them in the mouth, what she was saying is you have to display some type of masculine aggression to shake this woman out of that hyper-masculine aura or attitude that she's in, and remind her that it's time for you to be feminine, time for you to be vulnerable.
Right.
You have to remind them to be themselves, and that has to be done physically because they don't understand. You know how slick these mouths are?
Man, bruh. Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Hold on one sec, all right?